Obviously, Yufine is back, and this is the full auto team for either top 5% or top 10%. Sigret isn't out yet, but this is without using Sigret. I also do have some mild concerns about her ability to actually get to the 60% mark on full auto, but this is for anybody who doesn't plan on rolling her or just wants to get it out of the way. This rotation is kind of interesting because I'll call it lazy. They didn't bother making Sigret work with the mechanics of this fight at all. So we completely ignore one of the two primary mechanics, which means that it's pretty easy to auto. You just need a unit with 3 debuffs, good amount of sustain, and then a 4th unit that won't die. That's pretty much it. Fenne, of course, her healing, very nice. Plus damage. Doris, great tank because of her passive, and her defense buff, heal buff is all super nice. Suthan, 3 debuffs on his S3. Dizzy is another good choice. You kind of want 3 debuffs just so that you can guaranteed clear the debuff null phase. You could use somebody with like 2 debuffs on S2 or S3 and then a debuff on a different skill, but it's kind of annoying like that. Just make sure it's not a warrior or ranger hero, and this is speed tuned, but if you don't feel like speed tuning, then you can just do a semi-auto. Just flick their skills on once the debuff null phase starts, so they're guaranteed to have their debuffs up. And the 4th slot is just any unit that won't die. I'm using Carmine Rose here because she has a heal on her S1, but you could just run some other bruiser. Like, I honestly can't think of anybody. Most of the bruisers are like warriors. But just some unit that's not a warrior or ranger that won't die will be fine. Probably there's some decent ML5 options, I would say. If we can take a look at everybody's stats. First up is Doris. You just give her some HP, some speed. It doesn't really matter. I give her Warhorde for a bit more damage. If you're struggling with sustain, you can give her Touch of Rekos because she's getting hit every single turn. And then I guess I can show her skill tree. I mean, I have her plus 30. She's a pretty nice unit to have. Not really everything is necessary. I don't think like any of her stuff is super necessary, to be honest. You might as well take the free stats and then grab this one, I would say. Some free healing every time you get hit by a dark unit. Next up is Suthan. Suthan, a bit of speed, and then besides that, you can just give him whatever. I just gave him random stats. I'd give him a little bit of bulk, just because Yufine does do a lot of damage. And then this is the speed tuning that works with my setup. As I mentioned, if you don't want the speed tune, just turn his skills off and then turn them on whenever the debuff null phase starts. And I gave him Midnight Bloom just for more stat stick. Let's do Feni next, because Feni is more core. So for Feni, you can just give her a bunch of HP, some attack, crit chance, and crit damage. She doesn't really need any speed. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that she is sealed during this fight, which means that you want to overcap your crit chance a little bit. Where is my Fenne sword? So this sword here is 12 crit chance. This one is also 12, and you can see I'm 5 crit chance overcapped. This is because I have Midnight Bloom, so that's plus 16, and I have Frantic Flight on Fenne, which is another plus 10. So I'm plus 26. 26 plus 25 is 31, and this means that even with her S2 sealed and her missing her 30% crit chance, she's still at 101% crit chance. So just do make sure that you keep that in mind. And then besides that, it's just Destro and then either crit or HP set or broken set or whatever. I'm using Frantic Flight. Any sort of attack or damage boost artifact would work fine here. And again, the stuff that you're missing due to being sealed is 30% crit chance, plus her attack and speed scaling, plus her revive. Last up is Carmine Rose. For Carmine Rose, I just have her on a damage build too. We have Midnight Bloom, so 84 crit chance is good enough, and any sort of attack damage boosting artifact is going to work fine here. You might want to give her a little bit more bulk. It kind of depends on your setup, and again, pretty much any bruiser would work fine in the slot. I'm sure DPS works okay, as long as you make sure they don't die, because Yufine does do a lot of damage. But that is it for the base setup, and now let's take a look at the auto.
어두운 건 싫어. 불이 되고 있어.
끝이 다가온다.
제 연구의 성과로 모두를 지켜낼 거예요. 순순히 내 말을 들으면 좋았잖아. 느껴져요. 사랑해. 제가 치유해드릴게요. 보여줄까? 부숴버리겠어. 참아야 해요. 파파만 믿을게요. 자,
위험할 거야.
갈게요. 단단히 휘감아드릴게요. 지금이라도 들어봐. 용서는 없겠지만. 지금 기분이 어때요? 아파요. 어서 주세요. 저리 할 정도의 사랑을. 무섭고 두렵다고 해도 포기하면 안 돼요. 난 도망 못 가.
겁에 질린
이런 건 싫죠. 도움이 됐나요? 참아야 해. 안아줘요. 숨이 가빠질 만큼. 좋은 곳으로 데려가줄게. 영접 따르라고. 나도 할 수 있어. 아플 거예요. 파파만 믿을게요.
끝이 다가온다.
물러서지 마세요. 맞설 힘을 드릴게요. 날 벗어날 수 없어. 사랑해요. 함께해요. 영원히. 이제 아프지 않죠? 단단히 휘감아드릴게요. 자, 하나, 둘, 셋. 누구부터
위험할 거야.
제 연구의 성과로 모두를 지켜낼 거예요. 지금이라도 들어가. 용서는 없겠지만. 보여줄까? 아파요. 갈게요. 안아줘요. 숨이 가빠지는. 넌 도망 못 가. 참아야 해. 느껴져요. 사랑해. 이런 건 싫어요. 도움이 됐나요?
끝이 다가온다.
파파만 믿을게요. 순순히 내 말을 들으면 좋았잖아. 어두운 건 싫어. 불이 되고 있어. 여기까지인가 봐요.